Now, many of you know Dr. Linda Exley as the Thesis dissertation advisor for the University of Sedona and the University of Metaphysics. Before coming to the university, however, she was an award-winning writer, editor, and book author who received more than 50 national and regional first-place honors. We only hire the best, you know. Her presentation, Writing Your Thesis Dissertation Can Change Your Life, is based on feedback from university students who worked with her. Today, she will share with you why writing your thesis or dissertation is an eye-opening, holy journey between you and your higher source, and indeed, it can change your life. If you have thesis or dissertation questions for Linda after her presentation, please save them for her workshop, The Easy Way to Ace Your Thesis or Dissertation, which will be held today at 6:10 in this room. Let's welcome Dr. Linda Exley.
Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. And I have to tell you, this is so exciting to me because before today, you were just voices on a phone or emails or sometimes, handwritten letters. But it is just so wonderful, wonderful to see your smiling faces today. And I want to thank you for something because you do your thesis and dissertation so you can get this degree. So you can go out into the world and make a difference. And we want to thank you for that. The whole university staff wants to thank you for that because you're doing the work and we're just showing up for you, and we appreciate that. Now, when people ask me, I want to start my dissertation, I tell them, well, really? Are you really ready for that? And when they're working on it, I hear back from students. And they tell me, they say, Linda, this has changed my life. Now, this isn't me saying that. And that's what gave me the idea to do this. So if you're out there and you're thinking about starting your thesis or dissertation, or if you've already done it, you know it changes your life. Raise your hand if you've done your paper and in some way it's changed your life. Okay, I'm done here. No, I'm just teasing. But how does it change their life? What have they said to me? They said that it's given them courage, closure. Closure was something that I thought was really, really strange because I didn't understand. How could do your paper give you closure? And they told me it's because generally you're picking a topic that is really, really important to you. It means something to you. That's generally how it happens. And you may have thought you knew a lot about that topic. And usually it's something that's near and dear to your heart. Like maybe you were abused as a child, sadly. But you've learned to work through it. And now you want to teach other people how to work through this. So you start along on your journey thinking, I've done this. And then you find out you're not quite where you thought you were. And Spirit helps change you to get you to this level. If you felt healed here, once you do your paper, you will be like healed on steroids. You will be out ready to teach the world everything you've learned. It will change your life. How else does it change your life? Strength. How many people live in an area where you don't want to really talk about woo-woo because, they just, don't want to hear that. And you're afraid to say something. Well, now, after you've done your paper, you have proven to me, because that's what it's about, proving your topic, proving something about your topic. You've proven to me that what you thought was true is true. And that gives you the courage and the strength to talk about it. You don't care what those people had to say before, because now you know, now you can prove that it is true. So it gives you courage and strength. It gives you creativity. I have people say, Linda, I'm not really a writer. I don't think I can really do this paper. And I tell them, don't worry. Because where does creativity come from? Is it in our minds? No, it's poured into us. And when you sit down and do that paper, that creativity will show up for you, because we know that creativity is what we were born for. We were born to create. And that's part of doing your paper. And you keep an open mind, and creativity will show up for you. The last thing that it really helps people with that they've told me about is honing their skills. If you thought you were a healer, you're going to be a healer times 10. If you thought you were intuitive, you're going to know a whole lot more, because you are actually working through your skill, applying it, learning it deeper. And in the state that you're doing your paper, I tell students, treat it like a meditation. I want you to treat it like a meditation. And this is why I think it changes your life. Because writing a metaphysical paper is a deep act of meditation. It's faith, and it's connecting with Source. This is not like any other paper you've written. This is not a secular school. I have people who've gone to secular schools, and they'll say, are you going to make me go through the whole program? And I'm like, I'm sorry, you have to go through the whole program, because this is unlike any other program. When you are studying a metaphysical topic, and you are writing about it, you are at your computer, wherever you are. I want you to treat it like a meditation. Just like Dr. Master says, show up the same time. I realize you can't do it daily. I'd love you to write on your paper daily, but I'll be happy if you do it once or twice a week. You say at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, I'm going to show up, I'm going to take my deep breaths, and I'm going to start my paper. You do that for a couple of weeks, and the next time you walk into wherever that is, you will start feeling what you want to write before you can get to the computer or even start typing that in. Because you have made yourself a schedule. You have told your higher self, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there. And I say faith because you have to have faith to even start such a huge journey with this paper. You have to have faith that it'll go through, it'll work, it'll pass. And as you build your chapters and as you go through it, that faith grows, and it just gets stronger. And faith will change your life. Who agrees with that? All right, I thought so. See some of my favorite students out there. So why does this work? I say it's intention. You're setting your intention, right? You're saying, I'm going to do the best paper I can write. Well, at least I hope that's your intention, okay? If it's not, don't tell me. But truly, you are at least saying, I am going to be an expert at my subject. I'm setting my intention to study this subject good enough that I can write it back out to you. And every day when I'm sitting down working on that paper, my intention is set. And intention is 9/10 of the law, correct? And if I have this intention in my mind, I'm going to do a good paper, I'm going to be an expert, because that is the purpose of a thesis or dissertation, is to make you an expert at your subject, then it will show up for you. And if you're an expert at what you do, even if you didn't know it before, you're going to be an expert at it, and that has to change your life. But how do you know this is happening? How do you know it's working for you? What are the signs along the way? You will be divinely guided to each source. Okay, you may have read your books and know what you want, but some of our students don't. Or you may think you need a book, and that's not the book you need. I have had students say, I really needed this book. It was the perfect book. I couldn't find it for sale. I went everywhere. I looked for it. And I was in a bookstore, and I'm just standing there, and I'm telling you, it fell right off the shelf at my feet. Or I'm in the library, and I had to have this specific book because it was the book I really needed. That was the book that I wanted. And it wasn't out. Somebody had checked it out. And I'm on a deadline. I want to get this thesis done, or I want to get this dissertation done. And lo and behold, they're leaving the library all in sorrow because they didn't get their book. And there it is on the return cart, face up. Is it the book they wanted? No, it wasn't the book they wanted, but it was the book they needed. And here's the most common story. Well, you know, my mom knows I'm into this stuff, and she's not into it. But she saw this book at a garage sale, or she saw this book in the store, and she thought, well, you know, my daughter's into that, and she mails it to them. It's happened to you, hasn't it? It's amazing. So you will be divinely guided because you're showing up for your higher self, and it's going to show up for you. Your mind will open for your greater good in meditation. And I'm asking you to turn this into a bit of a meditation, and I like to call it an intentional meditation. I intend to be an expert at this subject. You are focusing on that daily as you're working on your paper. You are meditating. You are taking your deep breaths, and then you're just letting God flow straight through you into the keyboard. You will also have your higher self. This is really cool. It shows up for you to interpret, to apply, and to learn. And I say interpret because many of us may think a certain book is what we want. And I'm going to use A Course in Miracles as an example. You pick up that book the first time and you go, oh, geez, I don't get what it's saying, right? So you're working on your paper, and you remember a couple of themes from it when you were trying to read it before. And you say, you know, that's the book I need, but I didn't understand it the first time I picked it up. And this time when you pick it up, you will understand it. You're like, where is this coming from? How come and this has happened to me. I know this is true. You're saying, where does this information come from? I didn't get it before, and all of a sudden I understand it so well. I'm writing about it. It's because your higher self is doing the interpreting. It's downloading with you. It's telling you what you need to learn. It's helping you learn and understand, and you're going to apply. You are going to be working through these lessons, and your higher self is not going to leave just because you're done working on your paper at 11 o'clock. I scheduled 11 o'clock as my finish time. That higher self is going to stick around you, and it is going to show you the lessons that you're writing about in real time and in life. And that changes your life. How long does it take to write a paper? People ask me that all the time. The fastest I've ever seen someone do it is maybe a couple months. I'm not going to say it was the best paper I ever read, but but normally it takes about 6 months or whatnot, right? So if you're showing up for 6 months, you're showing up every single day for 6 months on the day that you scheduled. You're concentrating on what you want to do. What you're doing is setting into motion a meditational experience that Dr. Masters says you will experience and live in a higher state of consciousness, not just when you're writing your paper, but you will, for the duration of it and even after, live in that state because you're doing this as a meditation. You're setting this appointment with your higher self. You will be calmer, more intuitive, and creative. That's where that creativity comes from. And I love it because I'm seeing nodding heads. That just makes me feel so good. You will manifest positive change. So I didn't say it, he said it. You will manifest positive change when you do this. You can't help but do it. Your meditational experience, you're doing it for, 4 months, 6 months. Every day, you're showing up. And it's showing up for you. Just like any other affirmation, right? It's an affirmation. This is my intention. This is what I will be doing. This is going to happen. You will do this. And this will be great. So, my friends, papers have written themselves, is what my students say. Using intentional meditation to write my paper makes it seem as if it's written itself. Who has had that feeling? Thank you. Thank you. And it does. I mean, you won't be able to keep up with your fingers sometimes. But at other times, you will have spells of things happening in your life, and you may need to take a break. But Spirit will be there waiting for you when you're ready to return. Things happen in their own time. Everything works out the way it should. But it will. It will flow. It will flow. And if it doesn't, I'll help you help it flow. You give me a call. I'll give you a cheerleader talk. The intimate act of receiving and recommunicating a metaphysical truth. I want to break this down. You are in this state of meditation. You are receiving this truth. It's a metaphysical truth. It's a life truth. It is truth. You are receiving it. You are going to recommunicate this to the world, to the people who read it on behalf of the divine mind. That's why some miracles really do happen while you're writing your paper. Because divine mind is working through you. If you approach this way, divine mind works through you and you are communicating a truth on behalf of divine mind, and that is connecting with universal source. And that's why I say that it is a sacred act. It's not like a secular paper. This is different. And now we know why it's different. And to me, that's a holy experience. And if you treat it like that, you will write the most amazing, amazing paper. And I'm just going to conclude with saying, please show up for my little seminar workshop. It's at 6:10 today. I have 2 other webinars out there on the website that many of you have already watched. And I want you to know that this one will not be like those other 2. To me, it's the missing piece. It's the piece that students have said, Linda, I've got all the nuts and bolts. I've got all the ABCs. I know where to put the period. I know what to do with in-text citations. But I don't get how to really start this thing. It's so big. It's so scary. I'm going to help you learn how to organize your ideas and generate ideas and know what to do with them when you get them. So that'll be 6:10 in this room. And I want to thank you for being such a wonderful listener.